my grandmother was my biggest influence. She represents a very rare generation who, unless you live in Iraq or live around that generation, you would not understand, because you'll have the common image that is represented about women there. My name is Vian Sora, and I'm originally from Iraq. I took my work basically everywhere I lived. I started in Baghdad, then I lived in Istanbul, Turkey, and then Europe for a very brief time, then Dubai, then I'm here in the US in 6 years. I face certain situations every once in a while in my daily life that is very foreign from my roots, which I'm very attached to, but you will see it in an atmosphere, in a fantasy within the work, in a land that I came from, but it could be any person in my life. A lot of the things that inspires me is color and movement and landscape. Landscape for me is not nature only per se, but rocks, pottery, anything out in nature, you'll see it in a painting, but you'll see it mixed with elements that could probably never meet in a normal life. A lot of my work is focused on women, but also because in my country, Iraq, when I lived there, a lot of men died in wars, and the woman is the one who take the lead to raise the next generation and survive. So you'll see women out of their comfort zone in my work in a way that could not possibly be accepted in their social setting, but this is how I like to paint them. I paint their inner soul, what they want to be, and they're more exposed, but in a powerful way. That's at least what I try to attempt to do. A lot of my work could be portrayed as war art. Obviously, the places where I lived are ingrained within my work, within my memory, and the landscape, especially in Iraq, where it is very diverse, and it's a completely different landscape where I live now. So that's why you see a lot of yellows in my work as well. The ancient settings and the ancient history in my country that was lost is a huge part of my work, and I'm trying to kind of decipher and decode what happened and why it continued to happen, but also trying to preserve some of that to where not everything you know about Iraq, my country, is negative. It's a beautiful place. It was a huge challenge to be a female artist earlier when I was in my late teens and 20s in Baghdad, especially that I haven't studied art formally. I am a self-taught artist, but I'm also, I studied around some of the greatest artists who live there. And I preferred to have my way with treating the color and the figures. And I was trying to do something new, which was not very accepted in the beginning. In a society where it's mostly male-dominated, and there is also a very interesting and mystique role for women there, because on the outside, a lot of how the West portray women in the East is they're more controlled, or they're weaker. But that's the opposite of reality. I focus on a concept of decay, and a beautiful decay. Certain materials will interact together to create that decay, but then here comes another figure, and it contribute into why the painting is finished in the end, because that's one of the challenges for me, is to know when should I stop.